Hi guys! So today we are here to talk about the OP-11 Tier 1 leader cards and also the deck list for these leaders. So I think in general, a lot of people already think that OP-11, the leaders are insane, and I think for me, there are two that I believe will be in Tier 1. So for me, is going to be blue, purple Luffy, and also red, black Koby. And I'm going to talk about the deck list, what I think will be good cards for these two leaders. And overall, I want to repeat that I think Blackbeard is going to calm down a little bit in the coming meta just because green, purple Luffy is so good against Blackbeard. I think as a result, Bonnie, Lucci are going to become more popular. When I talk about blue, purple Luffy and red, black Koby, I will be keeping this other possibly strong leader cards at the back of my mind. Okay, so blue, purple Luffy, I think 6k power is just too good on the leader, both offensively and defensively. But what makes this leader card so insane is that when it has 10 Dawn, so the 8 or more Dawn is the turn we get 10 Dawn, you get to do a searcher for free for Straw Hat Crew cards. And if that's not enough, the rest of the cards you get to arrange them. If the card is not Straw Hat Crew, but you want to draw it soon, you can make it happen. In a way, I think you don't even need a team song searcher cards to make this deck work if you have a lot of non-Straw Hat Crew cards. So overall, this leader effect is just too insane, and I think it gives you a lot of consistency once you hit that 10 Dawn. And because of Sanji, everybody should know by now, it's really insane. Alright, so this is my blue purple Luffy deck list. I think for this deck, what is most important is the RAM. And I think you can see I have 4 different types of RAM cards here. So Zoro, Bon Clay, the Gear 2 card, and also It's to Die For. So Zoro, it's helpful because it's on attack, so you can still kind of deal with Blackbeard instead of Bon Clay. But overall, I didn't put a lot of Law and Zoro inside because I think you want to start second. So Bon Clay is generally better. And also it's about consistency. So if you play this card and Doflamingo bounces it back or someone just gets to remove it, I think then you don't RAM, and it's not safe enough because RAM is just too important. But at the same time, I think you want to place a handful of it there just for utility's sake and just for safety's sake. So that's the reason why I have Law and Zoro. Otherwise, I think like Bon Clay, Gear 2 and Is to Die For are the RAM cards that I would prefer. I think Gear 2 is super good. You want 4 of it because it doubles out as a counter, 3k counter, which is very good. So even to the later part of the game, right, where you don't RAM anymore, it is still useful. So this card, I feel, just have 4 of it in your deck. And on the other hand, right, Is to Die For, if you start first and you manipulate it well enough, nowadays like Green Purple Luffy, 4 cost Zoro, is 6k attack. Then Doflamingo might play Revo, might play Hancock, 6k attack. So there are quite a lot of decks out there that has 6k attack. So if you wait until your 5 cost turn, or even until your 6 cost turn, if you have Zoro, immediately you can reach 8. And then after that, the following turn you get 10 Dawn, and then you can do whatever you want with your leader card again. So I know some people will choose the 4 cost Animal Kingdom Dawn ramp card that lets you draw a card. But I think because the focus here is not drawing, after you get to 10 cost, 10 Dawn, you can draw all you want with your searcher ability, right? The focus is to ramp. I think Is to Die For is slightly superior. So these are the 4 RAM cards that I've chosen. You want Usohachi because 2k counter is just really good. And I think we want to have enough cards that can deal with your opponent's blockers. So with Usohachi and also with your Secret Rare Gear 4 Luffy card, so these 2 cards can deal with your blockers quite effectively. And I really like this Nami card. So on one hand, it's a blocker, it's defensive. On the other hand, it allows you to draw and then trash too. So because of the leader effect and you can arrange the cards, this drawing card becomes really broken. With it just allows me to always have the cards that help me win the game in my hand. And then it's a blocker. So overall, this is really good. The purple Sanji from with the 2k counter, I think overall it's just a good counter card. And with the Sanji, 9 cost Sanji, if you are desperate for a blocker, it can double as a defensive card. So overall, I just place it there largely for the 2k counter, but also in case I desperately need a blocker. The next card, Katakuri. I personally think that this might be one of the best card in OP-11 for the characters because it does too many things. 8k blocker is really good, and then because of its effect, right, it can attack on the turn and then switch itself back to active at the end of the turn. And not only that, it gives you back 1 Rested Dawn. So with cards like Rush, 9 cost Rush Luffy, and then after that 9 cost Lin that gives you back 1 life, sometimes you'll be thinking, oh, then the next turn I won't be able to search with my leader ability anymore. But that's not true. You just need to play Katakuri and your problem is solved. So I put 4 of it in because I think offensively and defensively it just really works. I'm trying to pair it together with 9 cost Luffy and 9 cost Lin. I think generally speaking, the problem with this deck so far is that while it has a lot of big bodies, having some rush will be helpful. So I place both of this in. I think some people might put more of the 8 cost Luffy just to get rid of the blockers, but I feel like being able to draw, again, right, the card drawing effect is too good with this leader card. So 9 cost Luffy can be really helpful. Lin is just because I think the weakness of 6,000 power, 3 life leader is that there's not enough life. So Lin generally is helpful for that. And also with Katakuri, after you attack with Lin, you switch it back to active. It's so difficult to get rid of this card. I just think it's really nuts how these two cards can synergize with each other, which is why I think that Katakuri might be better than we think, and maybe the older Big Mom decks might be good again. Okay, and then the linchpin of the deck is definitely this 9 cost Sanji. It's insane. You can get to play like 18 costs worth of cards, and it's so much more consistent simply because you have your leader effect. Okay, but overall I think the weakness of my deck is that there is not enough counters, so having this gigantic will help. Then of course Gangnam Giant, until it's banned or restricted, always have 4 of it. You can draw a lot. So the fear initially was that if you did 9 cost Luffy or 9 cost Lin, and then you need to do Gangnam Giant, you cannot. But with Katakuri now you can, and then you can draw more cards. Really an insane combination of cards here. So this is how I'll play Blue Purple Luffy. Start with your second turn. Okay, when you get 4 Dawns, play Born Clay to 5. And then after that, the next turn we have 7 Dawn, play either Gear 2 or Is to Die 4 to 8. While you're at it, if you are able to, you can play Nami as a blocker. Then after that next turn, basically you can do whatever you want. So I think Blue Purple Luffy really strong. Okay, and then now we move on to the Red Black Koby. So if you watch my other videos, I would have mentioned that having characters can attack characters the turn they are played, that effect for Koby is very insane. And I think if you look at the deck profile later, it has a lot of other character cards that lets it attack active character the turn it is played. Which means, I think overall, this deck might be really good against Doflamingo. It's almost like having multiple rush cards in your deck that can get rid of all the blockers. So I think really strong, and also it protects against costs and just card removal effects as long as you have cards in your trash. So if I'm right and Rock Lucci comes back up, and I think Shanks is still in meta, Koby just has a way to deal with these leaders and making it probably defensively and offensively a top tier deck. Okay, so this is my Red Black Koby deck list. So of course, starting off we have Peacock with the Searcher, and after that I think Prince Grass, I can't really pronounce it, and I think Aramaki. These two cards kind of synergizes with each other in a way. So I placed these two in partially because of two-way counter, partially because I think Prince Grass is ridiculous. If it attacks, basically all your opponents 2k and below blocker don't work. So I think against like your Smoker, against Bonnie, where they like to play the Rosinante blocker card, it basically cancels it out. So this card itself is good. And then for Aramaki, right, like a lot of the other cards in this deck, it allows your characters to attack active characters. If you pair it together with Koby's ability, basically all your sword characters can hit anything that they want except the leader, of course. So with that, even if there are nothing to attack for your Prince Grass, you can basically find a way to make it attack, and then after that it deals with the blocker. So these two cards, very good combination. Bolsolino, it does the same thing, so it's blocker, and then it will also allow you to attack active cards. I think Kuzan is the same thing. When attacking, it also allows you to attack other active characters. So I think the tricky part about Kuzan is that it has to attack a character that is not active first before it can activate its effect. Then of course, I think what makes this deck for me work will be actually Door. So what Door does besides blocking and counter is that it reduces 6,000, which is a lot, power from your opponent for this turn. So you pair it together with Divine Departure or Honesty Impact. Basically, you can get rid of anything you want. Even without Divine Departure and Honesty Impact, if you want to attack an active card, minus 6k attacking with Koby, I think essentially you can get rid of most cards that you want. I think Hibari is also really good. So firstly, it can minus 2k when it's on play, but secondly, whenever it attacks. So for Koby deck, attacking is very simple. The more you play, you can attack. So you can plus 1k attack to your characters and leader. Generally just a very good offensive card. Then we have Helmeppo. So Helmeppo is great because you play it, and then after that you can get one of your Hibari or maybe your 8-cost Secret Rare Koby into play. And on that turn itself, because Koby can attack characters on the turn that you play the card, right? So like a semi-rush. Helmeppo, basically on the turn that it's played, it can get rid of many cards. So imagine you play against Doflamingo, you put Helmeppo, you can get rid of super a lot of Doflamingo's card and deal with the swarming effect of your Doflamingo. So basically, I think with Helmeppo, Doflamingo's position as king is once again threatened, which is why I don't think that you really need to ban Doflamingo. I feel like enough has been done to threaten its place as the tier 0 deck. What just came out is the promo card Koby, which is ridiculous. On the turn that it's played, right, it allows you to add 2k to your leader card until your opponent's next turn, which means for one full turn your Koby is going to be 7k. And then on the turn that it's played, it has 7k attack. With Koby's ability, it's again a 7k rush card. But of course the weakness is that because on opponent's turn it minus 3k, so it's a 4k easy to get rid of card. I think that's the only reason why it's not insane. But overall, I think just having that in your deck is good offensively, good defensively, very good card. Your Secret Rare Koby. So this is another one of the cards that allows you to attack active cards. Another good thing about 8-cost Koby is that returning 2 cards from trash to bottom of the deck, you can get 1k to any of your characters. Okay, so for me, right, I prioritize being able to remove cards from play. If your green Usta's Kid comes back to be a problem, Divine Departure and Honesty Impact again deals with it. My prediction is that Red Green Smoker is going to be good for a while, and I think Bonnie might come back, which means 8-cost Usta's Kid is going to come back. If you do not have a plan to deal with it, I think you're going to struggle in the next meta. So Divine Departure doubles up as a counter, 3k counter, and you cannot search for it, I know, but I think overall it's more versatile than Honesty Impact, so I placed it in. And I think together you can deal with most combinations for your opponent. If you really need to get rid of, say, like 10-cost Shanks that minus 1k from all your characters, then a Door plus Honesty Impact combination will work. So overall, I think this deck is very holistic. It deals with a lot of things that might be good in the meta. I already mentioned Doflamingo. I think it might be pretty good against Blue Purple Luffy. I think it's good against your Smoker, your Bonnie. And it's also good against Lucci because of its leader effect. So overall, I think just a very holistic deck that will be very good in this meta. Alright, so that is the 2 decks that I think will be top tier in OP-11. It seems like it's going to be really fun. So many things they can try and do with these 2 decks. And very offensive, very well-rounded. It's the kind of decks that I like to play. Of course, because I'm a fanboy, I'm definitely going to try Blue Purple Luffy more. You can tell me in the comments below what deck you are likely to try in the OP-11 meta. Overall, I'm very excited for my case. I'm going to do a case opening soon. So stay tuned and check out if we get to pull all the good cards that we want. And hopefully I get the author leader cards that I really want for this OP-11. Alright, see you again. Goodbye!